Sam? Sam? Sam?
Hi, my name is Sam, and this is my story.
What's up, guys? I'm here with my boy Sam from FTX.
Being comfortable with risk is very important.
Why don't you buy a Lamborghini, man?
Didn't have any particular need for one.
Use a lot of elementary school math.
The most generous billionaire in the world. Sam has crazy hair. Sam is vegan. Sam sleeps 5 hours a night. Sam has $22 billion.
A lot of people think this is how you mine Bitcoin, but you don't need a flamethrower. You just need FTX. Me, Bitcoin.
I got you, Sam. I got you, Sam. I know you didn't think that, well, I guess you thought I was just kidding when I said get ready. No, bud. No. Hey, I know everything. I may know more than Caroline, to be honest with you.
It's not the first time I've made a bad investment, probably not the last time, but luckily I make more good ones than bad ones.
I just want to let you know, jail's not that bad. It sucks, but it's not the worst thing ever.
Sam? Sam? Sam?
100% of the time when I meet a person who has lots of money and is very, very frugal with their lifestyle, they are not a good person. 100% of the time. When I know people with lots of money and they sit there and they want to drive an old Toyota Corolla, or they're very frugal, they talk about investing, they save money. These people are always weirdos.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. It is another boring day for Bitcoin. Now, I told you I didn't trust the price action for the weekend anyway. We're waiting to see what happens tomorrow because basically what's going on right now is it looks like Genesis is not going to be able to raise that $1 billion that they need. And some people are actually speculating that this could be worse than the FTX debacle. Now, I don't know how much those allegations actually hold true, but what I do know is that Grayscale is currently refusing to provide their proof of reserves. Now, they're saying this is because of security purposes, security reasons. We are going to dive into that. There are some people saying that this is a red flag, and there's others that are saying, no, it makes total sense. We're going to go into all that. And on top of that, we have breaking news from this morning that the FTX accounts drainer wallet has now been actually selling ETH and swapping it out for Bitcoin. Very, very strange, especially if this is in the custodian, in the hands of the Bahamas. Why are they, well, first of all, why did they want ETH in the first place? Why are they now swapping it for Bitcoin? That kind of is weird. Now they're creating a taxable transaction, right? Super crazy stuff. There are some theories about that. I do want to talk about how ultimately we do, end this situation. I do have a video clip for you guys at the end of the video. Make sure you stick around. And finally, one of the bigger questions is this actually true capitulation, or do we really need more pain in the system? So we're going to go over all that and, of course, some of the key levels. So if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, well, you're probably missing out on some updates, guys, because we are just paying very close attention to what's going on. And it is just very, very crazy out there. But just super quick, I do want to talk about the charts, guys, right here. You could see that this resistance that we've had right here holding us down, now currently we actually are sitting on it as support right here, right? But we're kind of just hanging on by a thread, and we do know that if we fall below these levels, there really isn't too much support below. We are still in this blue zone. I actually kind of pulled the box up a little bit higher because you could see right here, we had this wick right here, and it is coinciding right here with about the $17,000 level, pretty much even. And, we are, still in this formation, and this is the 4 hour. So really, guys, pretty much by Monday or Tuesday, we're going to hit the end of this. And there is a little bit of support right here. Maybe that could catch us, but ultimately this is the calm before the storm, and we are waiting for that big move. And my levels have not changed, guys. Ultimately, we're looking to break through the resistance to the upside at around 17,600, 18,000 is really that level that you want to get above. And of course, my ultimate level for confirmation that, the bullish trend is back on, maybe we come around like this, have a retest, this area, bounce back down, and then come up and close above this $19,500 level. Then I do think we would continue to the upside. Breaking to the downside, the only thing you have is this little bit of area right here around 15.5. Very, very small support at around 15.3 right here. But ultimately, guys, the next level is still 13,800 to 900 because that was the significant monthly close back in 2017. All right. So everything I've been saying, I went into much, much deeper analysis in my previous videos. I just don't want to keep repeating the same TA every single day. Ultimately, in a nutshell, we are waiting for the move. We need to see which way we're going to go, and then we need to start building some kind of a new formation, and then we could start taking more trades. Right now, I still think you're kind of just gambling. I think you're just taking a guess on whether or not you think it's going to go up or down. Personally, I think it should go up. I think we've had a lot of negative news, but again, very hesitant in the markets right now with a lot of these traders waiting to see what this big news is coming out on Monday or Tuesday, right? One thing I do want to point out, though, is according to the spent output profit ratio, you can actually see that this metric right here, they're saying is hitting rock bottom, which unfortunately is implying that most Bitcoin holders have recently sold for a loss, right? So a lot of people that got into crypto in the past year and a half, unfortunately have been selling their coins for a loss. So this kind of feeds into that narrative of capitulation. Have we capitulated? Well, we've literally seen how many companies going under lately, how much liquidity issues, FTX going down, Celsius, Voyager, retail capitulating, Kevin O'Leary, right, losing $1 billion on FTX, which we'll get to Kevin in a minute. But this is really screaming signs of capitulation. I would say, and this is just my opinion, not financial advice, but I would say that, without trying to guess the exact number, we have to be very close to a bottom because I just can't imagine much more happening in this space. We've pretty much had every bad thing that could possibly happen, and yet Bitcoin is still hanging out around that 16.5 level, right? You got to admit it's pretty resilient. But like Andrew pointed out, and he's the founder at X3, he said breaking. Absolutely nobody is biting on the $1 billion raise for Digital Currency Group and Genesis. Closed doors and a lots of don't even send us the deck. Big time ripple effects coming soon. Verified turndowns from both Novogratz and the Winklevi. Both Galaxy and Gemini have serious issues on their own, right? Now, there was that speculation because of Gemini Earn. I personally, this is just me, I would be shocked if Gemini did go down, if Gemini did have to go bankrupt. They are one of the few that actually has the bit license and they are compliant and they do have to provide, that proof. But at this point, would anything truly surprise me? I don't know. I don't know at this point. It's crazy. So Gandalf was pointing out over here, if the liability was on Genesis' balance sheet and only pertained to Genesis, why would DCG be trying to raise $1 billion through selling their own equity to save Genesis? Genesis does maximum 100 million of revenue. They are worth far less than 1 billion. The answer is that the liability sits with DCG and DCG is now at risk. Furthermore, it's not clear they are worth enough to raise the 1 billion by Monday, and that's the issue. What a mess. So, North Rock continues. The worst case is what this person outlined. DCG goes bankrupt, Grayscale gets dissolved, 6 billion of Bitcoin sell pressure, 3 billion of ETH sell pressure on top of existing DCG fueled chaos. And you can see right here, they go on to talk about it a little bit more, but Gandalf says, don't panic. Lots of unknowns here. This is all speculation, and big key would be whether DCG itself is in trouble or whether it's just the Genesis digital trading. If, and that's a big if, DCG was in trouble, that doesn't mean that GBDC won't be liquidated. They could sell it as is for another sponsor to come in, right? And this is the thing, is that most likely they probably would look to see if somebody else would like to take it over, right? But Mario Nolfall, he breaks down some of these numbers, and he says if Genesis falls, this could be bigger than FTX, right? He says, let's break down the numbers. DCG is the most significant company in crypto. Their subsidiary Genesis lent a lot of money to 3 Hours Capital, who we know went bust. They bailed out Genesis, 1.4 billion. Genesis had about 50 billion of loans. Question is, who from these borrowers have FTX exposure? Because obviously if they have FTX exposure, they're probably not going to be able to pay that back, right? Both Genesis and DCG are currently raising capital. Barry Silbert could write the check. does he have the liquidity? DCG already injected 150 million. Does DCG have any more liquidity to bail out Genesis? Debate ongoing, will continue to follow. Now, you had Lyle Pratt, he's over at Vita, and, he was responding to this by Gandalf, and he says, Genesis may go under, but I find the odds of GBTC Trust being liquidated to be highly unlikely, just given the cash cow that it has been. More likely that someone like Fidelity buys it and keeps it operating. And this is what I was leaning more towards. I think rather than, create this sort of pandemonium and destruction and dumpage on the market, I think that they would sort of look to see like, hey, does somebody else want to sort of take over? And considering that we've seen a lot of these big guys getting in the space. I just showed you yesterday, we had that big firm, 60 plus billion coming in. Fidelity could be an option, right? So kind of basically we're trying to keep the FUD in check here. Although I did say the other day that at this point, unfortunately, I have to assume that all FUD is true until proven otherwise, right? So at this point, I'm going to tread cautiously, assuming it's the worst, hoping for the best. I think that's the best way to deal with the situations right now. Michael Sunshine, which if you guys, some people didn't actually know who this guy was on the thumbnail yesterday because I didn't actually ever show his picture, but he is the CEO of Grayscale. And he says, though this is a difficult moment for many in crypto, I am deeply optimistic about the future of this industry, Grayscale's business, and the opportunity for investors. However, Grayscale, as you can see, has refused to share their proof of reserves, citing security concerns. The move has stirred up speculators about the financial health of the company. The company said major cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase, which is used by Grayscale as a custodian, frequently performs on-chain validation, adding that they cannot share their proof of reserves due to security risks. Grayscale acknowledged that its decision to keep its reserves information private would be a disappointment to some investors. However, the company claimed that panic sparked by others is not a good enough reason to circumvent complex security arrangements that have kept our investors' assets safe for years. So a little bit of a double-edged sword. You can understand where they're coming from, but also given the extreme conditions of the market right now, you do realize how this looks, right? And, Alpha pointed out, I wasn't concerned about GBTC until reading this statement. Given the amount of scrutiny and pressure they are under, the best thing they could do was to show proof of reserves. Instead, they come out with a statement pointing to security concerns, right? And, a lot of people have this joke in the space, basically when everyone says, hey, or when someone comes out and says, hey, don't worry, everything is fine. That's usually when you panic, right? Maybe this case is different. Maybe these guys, are doing the right thing. Coinbase Institutional came out with a tweet and also responding to the FUD and said, nothing is more important than ensuring our clients' assets are safe. With 10 years of expertise building a secure and compliant custody solution, Coinbase Institutional is proud to provide segregated cold storage custody services with our qualified custodian. So again, saying, don't worry, everything is fine. Now, Lawrence Lepard, which, by the way, I really respect this dude in the space. I appreciate his commentary. I love when he does interviews. He also says that he doesn't think it would be an issue. He says, spoiler alert, I own some Grayscale. I've been buying more. It's still less than 5% of my Bitcoin holdings in case I'm wrong, but self-sovereign key ownership is a must and a top priority. So again, like I kind of said, right? If you're trading, if you're speculating, sure, put some coins on the exchange. Don't put the whole, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Keep your unless it's cold storage, because in that case, then, you're good. You have as long as you don't share your private keys. This is a really, 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 really long thing he goes into, but he's like, I believe they have the coins. They are New York State regulated. And you guys know that New York State is absolutely the toughest state when it comes to crypto. They're the only state right now that has the BIT license. And that's literally why there's only a very, 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 very small amount of exchanges that are actually able to legally operate in the US. Even companies like FTX US and Binance US don't even operate, in New York State. So that's just something to point out. Gemini does, Coinbase does, obviously. He says, I personally do not think Barry Silbert is a fraud. I do not think Michael Sunshine is a fraud. I do not think Grayscale is a fraud. Just my opinion based on my knowledge and my contacts. And, he talks about worst case scenario. If they were to go bankrupt, if they were shoved into, liquidation, he says, pretty much what everyone else is saying, the most likely outcome is that they would just turn it over to somebody else. They wouldn't, dump it and destroy the market, basically, right? But so that's that situation. So basically it seems like a lot of speculation. We have to see what happens in the next couple days, whether or not this $1 billion was truly important enough, and how big it could be. Is it actually bigger than FTX? I don't know. I don't know the inner workings. I'm, just so you guys know, I'm not like a crypto insider. I don't talk to insiders. I don't know inside stuff. I just know what I hear from these sources and what I'm reading. So, unfortunately, I'm kind of going through this, guys, the same way that you are, taking my precautions as well and being wary of where I am putting my coins and distributing my, wealth, I guess you could call it. So crypto exchange, here's more sort of that, fallout from the FTX. We have Liquid, the exchange Liquid, suspending trading on its platform only 5 days after suspending fiat and crypto withdrawals on the platform. Now, they said that they were instructed to do so by the legal team acting for FTX, because don't forget, FTX acquired the Liquid Group and all of its operating subsidiaries back in March. So they do fall under, I guess that jurisdiction, right? But you also have companies, including crypto bank Silvergate, disclosing that they had exposure to FTX as well. This is the contagion continuing, right? Having encountered difficulties with prime broker Falcon X, announcing that it will no longer use the company Silvergate's exchange network. Falcon X said its decision was based on publicly available market information, raising questions about whether others may follow suit. So what are we waiting for? Well, all eyes are going to be on the court hearing on Tuesday after FTX announced on Saturday that as part of Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection process, it will conduct a review of its assets, which may lead to the sale of business interests. So this is supposed to be happening on Tuesday, which is why I said it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens in the next couple days, because not only do we have this FTX hearing, we also have the results of, well, we know they didn't raise, or sources are saying they didn't raise the funds. So how is that going to affect the markets, and how much exposure and how bad in debt to this situation really was Grayscale GBDC Digital Currency Group, right? So it's like this big kind of web of everyone being connected to each other. So that's that situation. Moving on. So we saw that the Bahamas, the regulators came out and said, yes, that's what the stories are saying, right? They confirmed it. They had a document. So you would think you could trust the legal authorities. Just going to leave that out there. But, they said that, yes, we did instruct them to essentially hack their own platform. And they were saying that this drainer wallet was in the hands of the Bahama regulators. But now they're saying after consecutive days of swapping cryptocurrencies drained from FTX for Ether, which was kind of weird, very weird. Why not hold in a stable coin? That I didn't understand. Seems like it's more of a risk to be holding it in Ether because the volatility. But now they're swapping their Ether for Bitcoin. So first it swaps everything for Ether, then it swaps everything for Bitcoin. Now, I don't know what these guys are trying to do, but keep in mind, we can all see what you're doing. This is the beauty of the blockchain. So the exploiters swapped about 5,000 Ether for 347 Ren BTC, which is a form of wrapped Bitcoin on the Ethereum network, which you can redeem for Bitcoin. And then they followed another swap of about 344 Ren Bitcoin. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. So Ceteris says, mildly interesting that the FTX wallet is going to native Bitcoin. Very weird. Why not a stable coin? Doesn't make sense to me. Don't really know. So Larry Cermak, he says it makes perfect sense after tornado liquidity, went to all hell post OFAC. Laundering Bitcoin is so much easier than ETH, especially in slightly larger quantities. He says, why do they use Bitcoin? Yes, really any form of coin join. You can deposit coin join Bitcoin slowly to a tier 2-3 exchange, swap to Monero, withdraw, then deposit XMR to Binance, swap to stable, and withdraw to some exchange with your own KYC. Voila, clean money. So, but then again, would they do that? Because this would be technically laundering, right? Or attempting to launder, right? Didn't the U.S. just shut down Tornado Cash and throw the guy in jail? But the Bahamas is going to be using something similar. Everything about this is just so shady and so questionable. But this is sort of the good news, if there is some good news. So Peter Brandt says this is the type of news that comes at or near a major market bottom. You can see The Economist, crypto's downfall, Bloomberg Business, in ruins, the fall of a crypto empire, right? Lots of negativity, lots of fears, lots of disinterest. just really everyone is afraid to touch crypto right now. Now, I don't believe that this means instant V-shaped bottom recovery, but I do think that considering all of this has happened, Bitcoin is still holding steady, believe it or not. And, we're seeing, according to these charts over here, that you're seeing the spent output profit ratio showing that a lot of holders recently are selling for losses. How is this not capitulation? You know what I mean? It seems like if there was ever capitulation, this is it. So obviously, I'm not going to call and say the bottom is in. We may have another flush out, but I can tell you guys there's not much left in the system unless what? Binance goes down? I mean, what else could possibly happen at this point, right? So turning it over to the Bankless show, I did just want to give a shout out to them. Check them out. They're really awesome. I like their content. And they were doing an interview with the previous CEO of Kraken, Jesse Powell. And this is sort of what he said and, what we're going to have to experience and how we're going to have to grow moving forward. And at the end of the day, you just got to keep pressing forward and you got to push these bad actors out of the space.
It's going to take some time, I think, to recover from kind of like the political damage that has been done here. I think obviously there's maybe $10 billion of client funds that are still trapped in FTX. I mean, obviously that's a massive hit, right? Like the money's maybe just gone. Hopefully people will get something back. But it's obviously going to take that value out of the ecosystem, which might have been used to invest in new projects, in other good companies. It's just a massive hit to lose $10 billion of capital, from this industry, to have that just stolen away that could have gone to great stuff and moving this industry forward. So that's going to take some time to recover from. Obviously, the prices are depressed, as a result of all this as well. So I think we're going into an even deeper bear market winter, and it might be protracted. We don't have another Bitcoin halving until, like March 23, I think. So, or is it 24? But it's going to be some time, and I think that's sort of like the next kind of big event that might cause us to kind of like bounce out of a bear market. So I think unfortunately, it's the same story as it kind of has been for the industry for the last 11 years that I've been in it, which is like, we got to keep marching up this hill. Maybe we got to sprint up the hill for a little while to recover some ground. But this is a war and it's a marathon. And, I don't think we're ever going to be able to rest on our laurels as an industry. I think they're going to continue to be bad actors coming in that we have to get out. There continue to be blows against the reputation of the industry and misleading information out there. But ultimately, I think, we got to remember why crypto's here in the first place. And that is to, deliver Bitcoin and financial freedom basically to the whole world right now. And there are billions of unbanked people out there right now who have no access to financial services. I think it's sometimes easy to forget that living in the States, where you're delivered like 40 credit cards on your 18th birthday, like unasked, or we just like you're tripping over like financial services being thrown at you all the time here. I think we got to remember like what we're all really doing this for, because it's going to be a tough battle.
By the way, speaking of bad actors, I don't have enough time to cover all this. So BitBoy has been on a tweet storm about Kevin O'Leary. He says he's really pissed him off. You want war, Kevin? You got it. Ask your buddy Sam how that worked out for him. Gloves are coming off. You just bought your one-way ticket to eradication in this space. And, without going into too much, you can see right here. So he's been texting him. He got Kevin O'Leary's number. He's been talking about this other stuff that happened. If you guys are interested, just go check this out for yourself. This is literally just coming out like every minute, all this different stuff about Kevin O'Leary. There was something in here that was really, what was it? Something that he did that he tried to, cover up or something like that. So definitely check this out, guys, if you are interested. But I think that's enough for me today. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I'm trying to bring this information out as fast as I can and, as soon as I'm seeing it. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. Make sure you guys get subscribed to my channel. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter It's at the Crypto Zombie because that is a lot quicker for me to get information out. And then also, you know, I have set up a TikTok as well, Crypto Zombie, if you guys want to check that out. But that's it for me today, guys. And like I said, if you do want to stay safe out there, make sure that you check out my Ledger tutorial popping up right here if you want to learn how to custody your own crypto. That's it for me, guys. You rock. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.